This is Farid Pathan from United States of America, New Jersey. Welcome to PCB Views. Our distinguished guest today, Dr. Professor Lieutenant Colonel Najmul Ahsan Kalimullah, also chairman of Johnny Pop, and Professor Farhad Hussain from Dhaka, and Iftikhar Ahmed from Dhaka. Our a lot of topics we're going to cover today, but breaking news we found that Khaleda Zia is on the way to London, and also we will talk about Major Dalim. He had a breaking news 2 days ago. All of a sudden, after 50 years, he showed up. 50 years he was a fugitive. All of a sudden, he showed up. We'll cover that issue too. First of all, I will ask one question to Dr. Kulimullah. Khaleda Zia is on the way to London, and Qatar Amir Tamim Hamad Al Thani provided that air ambulance. We know that BNP chairperson Khaleda Zia and also her husband, President Zia, they had both of them had a very strong tie with the Middle East and GCC countries. How you see that Khaleda Zia being absent from Bangladesh? Do you see that -2 issues that arise in 2008, and now it's also a lot of people are talking about, is it a -2 formula being implemented again?
Thank you, Engineer Martin Bhai. And also, I'd like to show my gratitude to my former student, Professor Farad Hussain, for being instrumental in bringing me in this show because he sort of asked me to keep an hour sort of you know, fixed for this uh, eventual interaction. And it's a pleasant surprise to find Iftikhar Bhai in this show. Although we live in the same city, but we didn't get the opportunity to sort of meet him before. Anyway, uh, better late than never. Our honorable former Prime Minister, Begum Khaleda Zia, uh, at last got the opportunity to fly to London. And of course, credit goes to uh, the royalty of the
Tamim Hamad
Qatar.
Al Thani.
Yeah, that's right. And it's nice of them to facilitate the logistics. After all, she is in a delicate health situation, and uh, it's a high risk sort of venture as well. Dr. Jaheed of DAB was all along with her. I mean, even the airport, and the government was also, I would say, kind enough to uh, give her the permission and also to facilitate the journey. You know, After all, by now she has become the symbol of our, I would say, sovereignty, our statesmanship in the country. I mean, she has a track record that she is never compromising with any sort of tyrannical uh, dictates. 111 government tried the level best to ease her out, but she refused. Sheikh Hasina, the deposed prime minister, sort of made her life hell. She was behind the bar, and also all sort of mental agony she had to go through, and it was done systematically against her. Her younger son passed away almost uncared for, and elder son is in exile since the 111 days. And, more than, I'd say around 80 lawsuits were sort of lodged against him, and around four or five has been quashed lately. And again, you know, until and unless all these lawsuits are settled, difficult part of her elder son, who happens to be the uh, executive president, or the second in command of the party. And almost every day he's interacting with the followers, the party activists, virtually. But, physical presence makes a big difference. Until and unless he's here in Dhaka, this hiatus will continue to remain. So, we'll hope and pray that for the sake of democratic well-being and fabric of the society, that uh, both of them should be back as soon as possible. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Farhad Hussain, the question goes to see you the same. Do you think that the policy making of BNP is going to make a little better or stronger while she is in London with the acting chairman, Tariq Zia?
I think that thank you for having me in this show. Begum Khaleda Zia is a far more matured personality in Bangladesh politics, no doubt. She has been experienced for 3 10 years. 3 10 years as Prime Minister, elected by the free franchise of the people of Bangladesh. And you know that 2 10 years have been completed by her. And one tenure was not more than 15 days or something, because she was under a kind of performing a responsibility exactly to introduce the bill of caretaker government. And that is why 15th April, the election that was held particularly with an objective of endorsing the caretaker government article in the constitution. He had been elected for 3 times. She has been elected for 3 times, and she is a very colorful lady, very patient, speculative, and tolerance. I must say it. She's a very tolerant lady. And I must say that she has faced so many obstacles and difficulties for the last 15 years.
Yes.
And she has also been imprisoned, for a certain period of, for a pretty long time. And the complaint is almost lame. It is a lame excuse, I should say. A former prime minister cannot be detained in this way for this sort of lame legal excuse. Today, I think that I pray to God for her recovery. And it is a very happy news for the nation today that she is on the way to go to London for treatment. And I believe that for the smooth running of politics in Bangladesh, the life of the life of Khaleda Zia is very, very precious for us today, because she is still today is capable enough to give the concurrent decision and counseling to the politics of Bangladesh. So the crucial moment prevailing in Bangladesh politics can have a particular way, proper way to proceed on. BNP policy, I think that that the leader of BNP is staying in London. And Begum Khaleda Zia is sick, physically not so capable exactly to address all these matters going on within the party. But I am confident that in BNP, so many experienced and leader of sagacity in BNP, highly educated, and I'd like to take the privilege to mention their names. Dr. Moin Khan, he was a former university professor, very experienced and very smart and prompt enough to face any sort of situation and to make any sort of concurrent statement, pragmatic statement, not to the nation but to the international arena. I'd like to exactly take the privilege to mention one of the occasions where Dr. Moin Khan had shown his capability of facing a very strong debate. It
Do
was
you,
a Doha
for the,
debate.
we heard some issues that within the party there are some conflict between Khaleda Zia and Tariq Zia. That rumor says all
No,
around.
no, no,
Uh,
no, 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 no. I don't believe this. I don't believe this.
okay,
There might not have any sort of conflict between the son and the mother. It is a fabricating story.
okay.
And what I am telling, Dr. Moin Khan had shown his ample capacity in Doha debate against Mani Singh Iyer, who was the former foreign minister, state foreign minister of India. I think that Dr. Moin Khan had shown better performance. Now, Mahmoud Chaudhary.
Probably he got a phone call. The same. I'll ask Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed. The same question goes to you. What do you think about her popularity? Your son, I know your son was on the way to go to a wedding party, and
Yes.
he got traffic jam.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about her popularity in Bangladesh? Is there how you think?
Well, bhai, it was Paran bhai, it was you that you called me and watched the TV because I never expected this kind of crowd. I thought our former prime minister is sick, so she will be going to the airport very fast in a fast track line. But the way the people came in the street, my son was supposed to go attend a wedding 9 o'clock, 8:30 around. He left around 7:30. He reached that place in Redison Blue from Gulshan around 11, quarter to 11.
So
The
it took
crowd
about three
was too
hours.
much. Yes. And he came at 3:30 in the morning. Nothing to do.
Mhm.
Because people wanted to say farewell to her. If, may heaven forbid, if something happens, at least people wanted to see her face for the last time. Or again, we pray that she comes back safely after proper treatment from London. But you cannot control people. They have not seen her for a long, long time. And the greatness about her is one thing I must mention here, that she was asked about the former prime minister. She did not pass a single negative comments about her. She only said, she has fled, what I will say.
She
This shows the greatness of her personality. Yeah,
Mhm.
please, Pathan Bhai.
We heard that last 20
Mm-hmm.
to 35 years of her political career, she never made any bad comments about anyone or any party leaders. She was that kind of characteristic she carries. Now I will ask a question to Dr. Kalimullah. Uh, last 3 days ago, all of a sudden, one fugitive, Major Dalim, while he was 50 years from our window, uh, all of a sudden he showed up. Oh, a lot of people they confused and said, "No, this is a fake face, fake person." And what do you know about the story of Major Dalim?
Thank you. You know, indirectly, we had the privilege and I would say opportunity to know about Major alias Lieutenant Colonel, retired or released uh, Dalim, Shariful. Dalim. His brother-in-law, in Bangla we call Bhaira,
Mm.
is a good friend of mine. We studied in Birmingham together in the UK, and he joined as professor and director of our flagship institution of Dhaka University, IBA, Institute of Business Administration. And my uncle, Professor Shafullah, was the founder director of IBA, and another uncle of mine, Professor Alimullah, was also his successor. So I had close relation with the faculty members of IBA, and I have a poll monitoring hat. So uh, we were invited by PACFRAL, it's a Pakistani entity, which is an offshoot of South Asia Partnership, Pakistan, and was headed by Mr. Tehsin. He invited us to observe elections over there. So, the delegation which went to Pakistan on behalf of Janipop, our National Election Observation Council of Bangladesh, it was headed by me, and one of the delegation members was Professor G.M. Chaudhary. While we were in Lahore, uh, Professor Chaudhary had the opportunity to go and meet his brother-in-law. Because of this advice from ISI, others, and other members of the delegation are not allowed to meet Dalim, Major Dalim, but he had a long parley with him. And through him, we came to know that another interesting piece of information that former Chief of Army Staff, and later who became Honorable Advisor to the category government of Professor Yazuddin Ahmed. And after resigning, he joined as the chairman of ACC Anti-Corruption Commission, General Mashud Chaudhary. After joining ACC as the chair, he went to Pakistan. Initially, that was to participate in the foundation anniversary of the unit which he belonged to, the Pakistan Army. And he took the opportunity to meet Major Dalim there.
Dalim.
So that was interesting saga. No less than the former Chief of Army Staff and also former advisor to the Qatar government and also former ACC chair met.
Mhm.
So through that we know that Major Dalim didn't die.
Still alive.
He was alive, and he, with the advice of again Pakistan intelligence, created a camouflage. He sent money to his relatives in Bangladesh to arrange a kulkani, that as if he has passed away. So this is the funeral ritual, and to sort of keep
Diverted the
the
intention of
eye
looking
of
for.
yeah Sheikh Hasina, that
Yes,
she doesn't
okay.
look for him as if he has passed away. So it's very clever of him, I would say. And uh, we came to know from Major Dalim that his wife, Nimmi, she passed away. She was suffering from cancer, and She was buried in Lahore, and Professor James Chaudhary visited the grave, and along with Major Dalim, and uh, brought a souvenir from the grave. I mean, there was a flower bush there, and he picked up a flower from there for his wife as a sort of souvenir. And he also came to know from him that uh, Major Dalim and Nimmi Apade didn't have any issues, so they adopted a baby girl, and she was raised, and later on went to marriage to a Pakistani boy.
Hmm.
So all this we knew through our maiden journey to Pakistan as international election observer. So I mean, we knew it very well that Major Dalim is alive and kicking, and definitely the person who gave interview with Mr. Elias, the journalist, is Major Dalim. No one else.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
So you know that he was alive.
Yeah, I knew
Mm,
very
oh,
well.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, another thing is a relative question. There are some disputed issues he discussed on that interview. He was talking about the 3,300,000 people being died in during the war in 1971. What do you think about those numbers? Is that the numbers is relative to any information that you know?
Well, it's not Major Dalim for the first time uttered such a piece of information. A lot of other scholars, they also came up with this type of statement. So it's not a surprise to me. And as a social scientist, we sort of view things from a value neutral perspective. It's a view. So, there may be counter claims and assumptions. So it's
genocide
part of reality.
organization genocide organization, they've been looking for the real number a lot of time. They sent the delegates to Bangladesh, and the numbers being not accurate, and the report didn't come up, and also the government didn't support those delegates who were in presence in Bangladesh to find out that how many people being died in 1971. uh, Still now it is not honored that it was a genocide in 1971, isn't it?
Well, it's a one sided story, I'd say. You know, Approximately 400,000 Muhajirs were also killed in 1971. We never talked about their saga, their plight, you see. We only
Mm,
talked about the Bengalis. So, after all, at the end of the day, whether you are a Bengali or a Muhajir, you are a human being.
all right,
So, the total sort of number of people who died must be accounted for
all right, all right. It's about
without
50.
any level whatsoever.
It's about 54 years. We could have find out the
Yeah,
numbers because right now on the communication and also Upojalas, there are chairman there. We could find
that's
within a
right.
month
Yeah,
if each Upojala chairman been
yeah,
called and look for the number. It
that's right.
shouldn't take more than the 2 months.
Yeah, it's true.
Uh, so do
It,
you,
it, it, it it depends on the political will, you see,
right,
and
right, right,
the beholder as well.
right, right. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
I would ask a question to Professor Farad Hussain that during the 1971 war, how was India being helped that freedom fighters while they've been in India? And do you think without their support in 1971, we could have won that war? Your
This question has
uh, uh,
particularly the history of Bangladesh
Right,
since 1971,
right.
since 16 December 1971. I'd like to take the privilege that if a community or a nation could have raised their voice, their heads, this nation cannot be subjugated by any power. India helps us. India helped us in 1971 in a very exclusive manner. They have given resource and habitations for more than 1 crore refugees crossing the border in the inflexing way. Indian government provided food, sanitation, health and training to our freedom fighters. Indian government exactly had given arms and munitions to our freedom fighters. It's all right. Everything is
They had a
okay.
they had a logistic support. They gave
They
us.
have got a very logistic support, and
Right.
I must admit it with gratitude.
Mhm.
And today, I'd like to, in this show, I'd like to express my felicitation and my gratitude to Mrs. Gandhi, the then Prime Minister, because she stood beside the people of Bangladesh with her entire government, exactly, during the war of liberation. And India, during the time, was not a rich country. They had been fighting against poverty. Even then, they stood beside us. But the narratives that is being going on continuously, that without the help of India, Bangladesh would not be emerged as an independent country. I do differ from this.
Mhm.
It might take time, It might it might take time, but it was possible on our part exactly to emancipate our nation from the occupying Pakistani army, because the plus point was whole Bengali nation was in the battlefield according to
Further,
caste, creed, religion, and professions,
further,
even the intellectuals. Yes,
I would let you know that last 16th December, India celebrated that India-Pakistan war, and India won that war. Uh, it wasn't that independence of that freedom fighters. They fought it. They didn't make any statement on that celebration.
I must differ vehemently from this kind of statement, because if we accept this statement that it was the war only between India and Pakistan, we must not honor our freedom fighters.
Right, right.
You know that our freedom fighters in different capacities were in the battlefield. They fought valiantly, ignoring their lives.
All right.
So how it could be exactly accepted that it was the only war between India and Pakistan? We must not accept it. We must have to honor our freedom fighters, our martyrs who sacrificed their lives in the freedom fighting. It should be. And I am really disturbed to listen to this delivery on narratives every day from Indian side. And I'd like to relate my personal experience in this regard. In 2016, I attended a delegation had gone from Bangladesh to India. And in New Delhi, I was listening this sort of speech from several speakers from Indian side that in 1971 it was the war between India and Pakistan, and our fighting of freedom fighting was totally ignored. But when my turn exactly had come to deliver my speech, I differed. Their narratives, what they were exactly giving on this particular issue. India, you know that India was not a better position with the war of Pakistan in any rate, in any case, in any war. I'd like to mention the war of first armed skirmishes and conflict of Poonch sector between India and Pakistan in 1948. India was not in a very convenient position facing Pakistan over Kashmir in 1948.
Mhm.
India exactly fought in 1965, and it was very clear that Pakistan was a very convenient position. And not only that, Pakistan army exactly had proceeded and occupied almost all Ran of Kutch, the adjacent border with a border with Gujarat. Ran of Kutch was totally under the control of Pakistan Army.
Right.
And it was the negotiation of the former British Prime Minister, Harold Wilson. Harold Wilson exactly came to India by the request of the then Secretary General of the United Nations. He patched up this matter and line of control was established. So even in the war of 1965, India was not in a very convenient position. It was only 1971 when all Bengali people of Bangladesh had been in the battlefield. It was a very convenient position for India exactly to fight against Pakistan.
Mr.
This is the
Shastri,
history.
Mr. Shastri had a peace treaty in Tashkent at that time, isn't
In
it?
Tashkent, Shastri died of heart attack.
Right.
It was a tragedy for Indian politics, you know.
Mhm.
And Shastri, it was very rumor and gossiping that Shastri could not exactly take the pain of
Right.
Indian humiliating position after 1965 war. But it is not that he was a heart patient.
He was heart patient, right?
He had to face the cardiac attack and he was not survived at all. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was a very foreign minister during the time, attended Tashkent Treaty, and he was a very fabricating man, creating problem. He wanted to exactly. He was a very ambitious person. He wanted to exactly subjugate the position of Ayub Khan because Bhutto was very much ambitious to form a political party to take the power of Pakistan. And it was so happened. Ayub Khan exactly had lost the support, spontaneous support of Pakistan army. Ayub Khan had to survive by the support of army. Bhutto exactly had been creating a certain kind of design of conspiracy. And after 1965 war, Bhutto managed to have some military officers in his support. And what did you see in Diden East Pakistan right now in Bangladesh and West Pakistan? There was a simultaneous movement started against, Ayub Khan, and the scheme of Bhutto was succeeded, and Bhutto exactly had achieved the power, which was a long cherished desire for himself to be the
So,
president or the prime minister.
so you think that without any support of Indian military, we could have won the war, but it would have
Yes,
take time.
it might have taken time, but I'm sure because there was a very convenient position for the people of Bangladesh because there was no geographical contiguity. West Pakistan and East Pakistan maintained the distance of not less than 1200 miles between Dhaka and Karachi. So it was the convenient position for Bengali people exactly to fight, to prolong fighting against Pakistan army. And ultimately Pakistan army would be cut if
It
they
was a
could exactly
guerrilla war.
continue the genocide.
It was a
Let me finish,
guerrilla
sir.
war, right? It
Let
was
me finish, sir. If Pakistan army would continue their genocide, the international community would take a serious concern. Particularly, Pakistan would face the UN Charter giving the human rights. So Pakistan would not be in the better position in the long run in the battlefield.
Thank you, sir. And now, Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed, do you think that the seventh treaty being signed by our first prime minister is Nazrul Islam and Tajuddin Ahmed somewhere in October 1971, in July? Do you think that treaty was just making a colony of India? Uh, those those seven
Yes.
treaty that he was when he was Mr. Nazrul, I think when he read the treaty, he faded away. He never
Mhm.
thought that what we are signing for. Are we
Mm.
going to?
Was it Nazrul Islam or Mr. Tajuddin Ahmed who fainted? I believe it is Tajuddin Ahmed who fainted. Can you correct me? Kalimullah bhai, you can answer. Who
Well,
fainted after seeing this treaty, the seventh, this one?
the seventh.
How is that? Seven-point agreement between India and Bangladesh. I will not go to the full details over
It
here.
was during the war.
It was during the war. It was officially signed on March 19, 1972. And it is written between Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Bangladesh and Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister of India. But there is another reference also. Actually, I could not find it anywhere. That is
No,
documents
the
called Bangladesh
Ali
documents.
Ahmed was.
I'm coming to the point, brother. Yeah, it's called Bangladesh Documents, Volume 3, and page 125. But it's a volume 1, 2, 3 now, not available anywhere. It's out of print. So we cannot refer that. So Oli Ahmed, famous politician, Oli Ahmed, a great leader, a great man, Barrister Rumin Farhana's father. I respect
Excuse
him a
me,
lot. I read
Oliahat.
his book. Oh,
Oliahat.
sorry.
Ali Ahmed.
Pardon me. Oli Ahad. So Oli Ahad, I was confusing because all the time the word Tajuddin Ahmed was in front of my eyes. So pardon my thing. So Oli Ahad, Mr. Oli Ahad was a great politician, a great man, and he wrote a fantastic book called 1945 to 1975, and that's this thick book, very thick book. So it's a fantastic book, and it shows the whole historical events that took place over there. Over there, he has mentioned these 7 points.
Would
These
you
seven
please read?
points I will go on.
Would you please read all the
Yes,
7 points?
okay. One by one.
Yes, please.
7 point document referred to above reads as follows. Number one, a paramilitary armed force for Bangladesh will be raised under supervision of the Indian military experts. This force shall be stronger and more active than the regular armed forces of Bangladesh.
Mhm.
Number two, Bangladesh shall procure all military equipment from India and under planned supervision of the Indian military experts. Number three, Bangladesh shall direct her foreign trade under supervision and control of the Indian government. Number four, yearly and 5 yearly development plans for Bangladesh shall conform to Indian development plans. Number five, foreign policy of Bangladesh must be compatible with and conform to that of India. Number six, Bangladesh shall not unilaterally resign any of the treaties without prior approval of the Indian government.
Oh wow.
Number seven, in accordance with the treaties signed before December 1971, there is a quote unquote war of Pakistan and India, Indian force shall enter into Bangladesh at any time and shall crush any resistance that may erupt there. This is the seventh treaty.
Do you think that that relate to Major Dalim what he said during the war they had a plan for 25 years. What we are fighting for, if we don't make any change, then we are making another colony of India. Do you think it's relate to that statements?
Yes, actually, that is true. I refer to this Olia's reference again. Here, what he is saying
So you got me. Uh,
We cannot hear you.
we cannot hear you.
Bye.
You're muted.
We can't hear you.
Would you
can
unmute
you
it?
hear me now? Sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
unmuted. I am referring
Yes.
to Mr. Olia's book, what is written over there, on few lines only. You will get the reply from there. The Indian rulers did not want a fully independent and sovereign Bangladesh, but a client state under its hegemony from the very beginning was made clear in a less publicized 7 point document which Mr. Tajuddin Ahmed, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, governed in exile in India in 1970, was obliged, I repeat, was obliged to sign as condition for India's direct military campaign in Bangladesh to accelerate the defeat of the Pakistani occupation forces and to install puppet government in power. Does this answer your question, brother?
Yes, I think so. And that was the a statement we heard from Major Dalim that he said there was 25 years plan to do
Mhm.
some change in upcoming politics and upcoming right after the war uh, that he mentioned in his interview. Uh, Now, I will go to Professor Dr. Kolimullah. Could you please tell us that do you think that our foreign policy within these two countries will repair what happened in since 5th August and ongoing? and that our trade, our foreign policy, and what's going on within two countries. Do you think it's going to repair near future?
Thank you. Well, it's highly unlikely because, you know, we don't see eye to eye, number one. We are at loggerheads with each other. And our interest is diametrically opposed to theirs. It's another thing. And, you know, the revolutionary spirit has many elements, you know, and one of those elements is anti-Indian stand, you know. So we have a lot of unresolved issues with India, you know. So as long as those are not settled, this will continue to simmer. And you know, Professor Yunus's remark with reference to Seven Sisters is another sore point, you know. And for India, Bangladesh is strategically very important, especially this Siliguri chicken neck, Siliguri corridor. So they are coming up with counter assertions like we have our chicken neck alongside Feni River. And Mr. Jaishankar, His Excellency, the External Affairs Minister of India, he gave an interview before, not very long ago, and stated that Sir Cyril Ratcliffe made a mistake by not sort of ceding Chittagong hill tracts to India, or for that matter, Chittagong, considering the security need of the dominion of India. So it's kind of a lamentation, but it's there. It's an issue. And you know about this KNF and Slida, Mr. Bomb. They are trying to create a larger state, you know, involving territories from Bangladesh, India, and Myanmar. And the Cookies of Manipur, they are at loggerheads with the Meiteis.
Right.
And the insurgency is going on full swing. And on the other side of the border, you know, Chin and Rakhine state of Myanmar, Arakan army is the de facto ruler of that territory nowadays. So everything is actually unsettled. So against such a backdrop, I'd say that we are in deep soup. You see,
So you think
not only Bangladesh but also India and Myanmar.
so you
And
think that Rama Act is going to implement it very
of
soon
course,
on
of course,
what Senate did
yes,
pass?
yeah, is there. So Americans, or for that matter, Israelis, they have long-term vision. You know, so it's not a ad hoc culture which guides them. You know. So
So you think a new nation is going to form in that eastern part of Bangladesh?
redrawing of the world map has
That's
become
what
a
Trump,
reality.
that's what Trump been saying last 2 3 days that he's going to redraw the whole world.
That's right. That's
Because
right.
he's been talking about the
Yeah,
Greenland. He was
that's
talking
right.
about the Panama Canal and
Yep,
the other things.
and Canada
That,
for that matter.
right, in Canada, right? So
Mm.
you think that that wave is gonna fill
Yeah,
in that part of the region?
yeah. And Netanyahu, the head of the government of the state of Israel, will not sit idle. And they have a connection here too. One of the lost tribes of Israel, or Israelites, Bani Manasseh, they have presence in Mizoram and Manipur, and more than 1,000 conscripts from Manasseh uh, people. They went to Israel and took part in the Gaza atrocities and also the border skirmish with Lebanon
Mhm.
just a couple of months ago. So the interaction is there. Yeah,
So you think that wave is going to fill in that part of the region?
yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
Now I would go to Mr. Farad Hussein. What do you think about the Bangladesh current situation now? The foreign remittance is on the way, but if the industry collapse and the raw materials doesn't come to the country, do you think that economy is going to collapse or only is going to survive with a foreign remittance?
Let me tell you one thing. I have watched an interview of Major General Rajiv Narayanan, retired military officer and expert particularly on geopolitical matter. He pointed out one thing, that when the unrest situation was going on in Bangladesh with an objective of toppling the government, the first regime, very interesting matter is that I mean the American ambassador in Dhaka was
Peter
very
has.
Mr. Hash. Mr.
Right.
Hash, exactly. Mr. Hash started visiting India, and he
Mhm,
made 2 or 3 visits in order to ensure exactly the buyers from India for American governments,
mhm,
for American for having the import from India,
mhm,
and he for his exactly initiative. Bangladesh garments industry had already lost so many buyers from the United States of America, which created economic pressure, and it is still been going on.
mhm.
Even though I'd like to congratulate or thanks the government of the present regime, the interim government of Bangladesh, especially Professor Dr. Yunus. He is trying his level best
Right, right.
exactly to take the economy back, and is also trying exactly to make a control on the price of the commodities in the market. And I think that Mitubai will be able to reflect this sort of picture of the market price going on in Bangladesh. I
I'll
think
go
that
to him. I'll go to him. Ask him that question.
okay. Thank you very much. And by this time, some commodities, daily necessities, exactly, are in the tolerable rate of price now in Bangladesh.
All right,
So it is a matter of relief. But we have been facing problem from electricity supply.
all right.
I think that the treaty or the agreement between Adani and Bangladesh government, the last regime, what is the condition of this agreement between the electricity suppliers, Mr. Adani, and the last regime? I don't know, but Dr. Inus is trying his level best. But one thing that is very alarming, that some projects are being held up, which were going on during the last regime, and many Chinese people are working in Bangladesh during the time, and right now they are not in the position to get job or get projects very easily. What would be the psychology of the Chinese government or sentiment of the present government towards Bangladesh according to the present situation? I don't know,
Do
but
you, Mhm.
I believe that even though I hope positively that there will be good change will be created in the impending days. But now, I'd like to tell another thing, uh, that have you asked this question? There is a buzzword that Indian troops in 1971, it should be mentioned here,
Mhm.
in 1971 installed in Bangladesh. You know, if India did not like to withdraw their troops, it would not be possible for Bangladesh exactly to remove or to see the withdrawal of the troops of Indian army or Indian troops. And this is a very vital question. I think that this historical fact should be clarified with the new conception. What we are thinking, what is the function of the United Nations organization? Does the
Because
United
yes,
Nations organization
Farhad
allow
bhai,
any foreign force in any territory of Bangladesh or
because
any
Gen
territory of
Z,
the world?
Gen Z, this our young generation, these kids, they don't know about the history of 1971. What
Let
happened
me
in
tell you.
last 20
Let
years?
me.
All the history. Whoever came in a power, they write their own history. Uh, uh,
I'd like to clarify this matter. Let me pick up this question on this way: that if India did not withdraw their troops from the territory of Bangladesh in 1971, was it possible on Indian government, possible on the part of the Indian government to remain their force for a long time? No, not at all.
mhm,
Because you know that India would have to face a pressure from international community, from the United Nations organization.
all right.
India would have to face, India must have to face the UN Charter resolutions on the legitimacy of keeping their force on the territory of Bangladesh. So it was
United
not possible for Indian government. Let me finish.
United States,
It was
United
not.
States wasn't even either on that war.
It was not possible for the part of India, for Indian government or India, exactly to keep their troops in the soil of Bangladesh for unlimited time.
All right.
No, not at all. It was inevitable for India to withdraw their force.
Mhm.
So history should be rewritten with the concurrent information and on proper speculation on what happened exactly in 1971.
Mhm.
History should not be written with emotion. History should be written with factual matter. What facts say, history should record it, not emotion.
Because what happened in last 20 years, and whoever came in a power, they wrote their own history. That's what we found.
Every government has got this task of distorting the history. It is unfortunate. They
Unfortunately.
like to write the history with their own accord, with their own thinking, with their own, I mean that, with their own colorful mind.
So
But
would you
history should.
please would you advise this government too, because this government doesn't have any political career. So would you advise this government, the current government, to
Thank
write
you,
the
sir.
correct history?
Thank you, sir. I am a very petty person. I am not so important person, particularly in national level. You can exactly make this request to my sir, Professor Dr. Kalimullah. He is a very colorful person, very noted figure.
He could he could he could convey
Even though
your
I'd
message.
like to mention this with a statement,
He could convey your
even though
message too.
I'd like to say the present government does not have any political legacy.
Right, right,
The present government has come to power by the consensus of the
right.
nation because of facing the crucial moment, you know, and that is why this government does not have any burden of political legacy. This government is not going to compete the election, and I don't know whether it is true or fact. Dr. Yunus will compete the election to come to power again through free franchise, and that is why this government is in a very convenient position exactly to make the instruction to write down the history of the nation on on the basis of authenticity, facts, and reality.
So there are a lot of disputed issues that we know since 1971, that history been written by their own their interest. Uh, uh, do you think that those issues being corrected by this government would be better for the future?
Yes, if there is anomaly, yes, there are so many anomalies in our national history. When Bangladesh emerged, after Bangladesh emerged as an independent country in 1971,
Mhm.
I think that the government should have a particular effort and endeavor to correct the national history so that we can exactly convey the message of the authentic history of the nation to the newcomers, new generation. And I'd like to show my respect to historians should be valiant. Historians should be courageous, like Romila Thapar of India, like Irfan Habib of India, like Ramchandra Guha of India. They're the stalwart historians. They don't bother for the government, whether the government has come from Congress background or BJP background. They are performing their own responsibility to point out the real history and to present it before the nation. I think that I expect such kind of historians. And I think that my sir, Professor Dr. Kalimullah, has this sort of full capacity exactly to present a real history.
Yes,
I
yes,
believe that if
I
he uses
agree.
his
I
team,
agree with you.
if he uses his team to write down the proper history, finding the real facts, it must be possible on his part. I believe it fervently.
Thank you, Mr. Farad Hussain. I hope Mr. Kalimullah will convey your message to the chief advisor of Bangladesh. Now I'll go to Mr. Iftikhar Abid. We know that about a month and a half, 2 months, Ramadan is coming. So we know the commodity price always goes higher during that period of time. Do you think the supply is enough to, to support Ramadan during the Ramadan period? Because the Indian lot of our commodities and the food supply is not coming from India. The market that opened by this government from Pakistan, Turkey, China, and the other neighboring country, do you think that is enough for that supply?
Good question. You've been asking me this question for a long time. Now it's I was actually yesterday was thinking also
I know
the
when you go in the market, you complain about the
uh,
price.
Since you
yeah.
are the research person, since
Right,
you are the Bituba, you are the research person in this aspect.
No,
right.
no, no. No. Actually, everybody has to count at the end of the day. Look at their wallet. So I will give a comment the perspective of the general people. I was thinking yesterday, what the Ramadan time flies so fast. Now I'm thinking about whether to keep any calendar in at home or not, because it looks like 1 month passed in 5 days time. It's just useless. The calendar now become.
It's like
So the Ramadan is
blinking of
just
eyes
after
is
one
one
month.
day pass.
Yes, yes. So Ramadan is just knocking at the door. Hmm.
Right. Mhm.
So I think the way that right now the commodities price are going low, as I said before, and there will be plenty of crops available. What we need? We need onion, we need brinjals, and other oil or other stuffs which will be imported, and the reserve is going high also. So 2 months is sufficient time to have a stable position. It will not be 100% what we expect, but it will give us some relief and soothing comfort that time, I believe. You mentioned I would like to come back to one point that we talked last time that about border collision, what we have recovered from 5 kilometer. Sorry for changing the topic
Uh,
to another thing.
there are some information that is I don't think is authentic or not. I can I
Mm-hmm.
can I can justify that statement uh,
Okay.
because the
Please update us on
information is not correct, and also that is not
correct it or
covered
not.
by the government either party.
Mm-hmm. Either party, yes, because the conflict report is coming from the both sides. So which
Right.
one to believe? We do not actually know. I don't know.
Mm.
So the comfortable situation we will be seeing soon, hopefully, when the Ramadan will come. What a country we are living in. For 53 years we are under slavery. And now we become free, but we cannot enjoy the freedom because of the hike of the price of the commodities. Pardon me. I think that's fallen down. This. And which country, Islamic country on earth in Ramadan, they reduce the price 20%, and we increase? What kind of Muslim are we? My first question to you. When somebody will come and say that please reduce the price this time, make less profit, be a good person before being a good Muslim.
Because from farmers to the end users, middlemen, they take the most of the profit.
Yes, this thing has to come to an end. Who will make that thing? Who will make the move? You tell me, brother. I'm asking you because I'm also a victim. I'm a general person at the end of the day.
All right.
There, I will be the happiest person before I am laid to rest in the grave to see that in the Ramadan the price has gone down and general people are enjoying Ramadan. That now, no, this is a very comfortable life we are having. Actually, compared to any country, Bangladesh actually is heaven. But if you compare other things, the commodity and other living costs is too much high. It's higher than living in a city. Dhaka city has become more expensive than living in New York. You are living in New Jersey, you know better than me.
Mhm.
How expensive it's become. The electricity price has been raised by the previous government so many times.
Because the inflation is going all over the world. Inflation is going higher.
Hmm.
Look at the dollar and euro. Now dollar and
Hmm.
euro are same, and $1.25 is equivalent to one sterling. So dollar is
True.
getting stronger compared to the other
Mhm.
currencies.
Mhm.
So that also is also impact on the price of on the all the products, any imported products.
Mhm.
I'll go to now, Dr. Kalimullah, the last question of our show. Mm, we know that January 20th, Donald Trump is going to take over the White House, and Biden administration is going to they will leave. Uh, do you think the coming administration and the government have any different foreign policy than the previous administration with the current government?
Well, there are a lot of speculations here. In the change of administration, the chemistry of Bangladesh America relation or Yunus Trump administration will change. I'll not be surprised because I had the opportunity to observe elections in the United States of America. I was one of the very few privileged IVP uh, members, and also I had the opportunity to do two postdoctoral fellowships, one with the uh, Advocacy Institute in Washington, D.C., had the privilege of working in U.S. Congress and its system. And also, I was recipient of coveted legislative fellowship and had the opportunity to work with the state legislature of Ohio in Columbus. And we are long-standing partners of IRI, International Republican Institute,
Mhm.
which is a think tank and associated with the
Election procedures.
Republican Party. Uh, Senator John McCain came to Bangladesh. He was chair of IRI during 111 period. He was our counterpart. And we sort of persuaded him to come to Bangladesh for 48 hours and meet the then three stalwarts, Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed, head of the government, Honorable Chief of Army Staff, General Mainuddin, and also my former teacher, the then Chief Election Commissioner, Dr. ATM Samsul Huda. And that a dividend, Senator John McCain was instrumental in persuading the then regime to come up with the general election on 29th of December 2008, not local level elections first, but the general election first. So that was a Republican contribution for the democratic development and advancement in Bangladesh. This time, I believe IRI has an office in Dhaka. They will be hyperactive. And also on the eve of 7th January 2024 election, IRI and NDI, they took up a bipartisan approach and sent a joint delegation. We had the opportunity to interact. And I believe their interest will continue to be the same. Because a non-representative government is not a panacea. In the long run, it won't be good for strengthening democratic fabric of the country. So I believe President Trump and his administration will come up with a definitive package for democratic sort of enhancement of the country. Thank you.
Do you? I think Dr. Yunus have a very renowned to Congress and the Senate. All 100 Senate members. He had a good profile on that Capitol Hill. Now the Congress is Republican. They control the Congress. Republican. They control the Senate. The Republican. They control the White House. All three form of governments. They are in control. Do you think? Do you have any advice to Professor Dr. Yunus to have a better relationship or better tie or any path you know?
Well, I would say that Professor Yunus should be down to earth, not cling to utopia. He should abandon all reform efforts, make it minimal, and sort of go for elections as soon as possible. Shouldn't wait for next year or even December this year, because he doesn't have the grip on what's happening on the ground. He was in abroad. He was in France. Came here as a kind of a quote unquote guest or mehman, in Bangla we say, and was asked to take over. And he was not instrumental in bringing this July-August revolution. He's a beneficiary, I would say, like all of us. We were happy to see Hasina gone. But the thing is, the people who gave their life, like my favorite student, Abu Said, because when I was fourth vice chancellor of Begum Rokeya University, Rangpur, I sort of found him admitted in the uh, English department. And another student of mine, Mugdho, I was pro vice chancellor of BUP, Bangladesh University Professionals, where he was a student. So we know that how much their families had to sacrifice. So, those who have become the beneficiaries in mundane, in material sense of the term, they shouldn't cling to power longer. The first and foremost priority is convening the 13th parliament election and all efforts should be given to materialize it as soon as possible. Thank
Do you think this government is capable to finish all the trial of BDR mutiny and
you.
Hafazat and the
You know,
extrajudicial killing, forced
justice
disappearance?
hurried, justice buried. I mean, law should take its own course. Trial process is a long drawn process. We don't want to hear at the end of the day that Professor Yunus presided over a government which carried out kangaroo trials.
But ICT is in presence in Bangladesh. Do you think their activity is good enough or the fast enough to finish within the time?
This process is, so it's not. I would say you can come up with moral absolute terms of assertion. The way it was created by Hasina regime, there are a lot of if and buts. So it's a continuation of that legacy. You see.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Farad Hussain, Mr. Iftikhar Ahmed, and Professor Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Najmul Hassan. Thank you very much, and appreciate for your presence and for your opinions. Thank you.